Good evening and welcome back to Lovable Misfits Presents Season 10 of the TTS League. We are back with Lu the Lunatic, who is facing up against BarnCat. Tonight I am joined by my friend Lucas. He is another member of the Lovable Misfits and also a participant in this season's TTS League. How you doing, Lucas?
I'm doing great.
So tonight we have a fantastic matchup, what looks to be Guardians versus our favorite weapon X. Now, Lucas, you were providing a little bit of insight into BarnCat earlier. I've obviously never met the gentleman or played against him, but you say he's a pretty active member in the Discord community.
Yeah, BarnCat's been around for quite a while now, and he's been repping Guardians at least for this season and and the season before, and he's just very active in that channel specifically. So it's not really a surprise that he's bringing the Guardians again in this game.
Looks like we've already rolled for priority, and our missions have been selected. So we will be seeing Paranoia pummels populace and intrusions opens across city as seals collapse. So 16 or 19. This feels like this is definitely uh, Luke's extract and probably BarnCat's secure. And while that's loading up, I haven't had a chance to look at the rosters. So going for Guardians, we have Agent Venom, Beta Ray Bill, Doctor Strange, Drax, Ghost Rider, Star-Lord, Rogue, Rocket, Nebula, Groot. A little weird, slightly weird choices in Doctor Strange and Drax. I personally don't see a lot of Drax in my rosters, but Doctor Strange is an odd choice.
I think that Barn. Oh, go ahead and you can go talk about Weapon Max before I.
Oh, yeah, not a problem. We seem to have a little bit of an error with the list loading in. We see Doctor Strange over here, X-23, Toad, and Mystique. I don't know if your TTS is showing these characters, but I am having difficulty seeing them.
I'm seeing everything
Oh, cool. Would you mind?
as normal.
Yep. Would you mind running through the roster?
All right, Weapon X's Logan, Honey Badger, Domino, Doctor Strange, the original, Deadpool, Mystique, Rhino, Sabretooth, Apex, Predator, Toad, X-23.
So both players bringing Doctor Strange, um, and one of Luke's favorite characters is definitely Deadpool. He can't not bring him to a game. Uh, But Doctor Strange for both characters, for both players. What do you think inspired that choice for both of them?
Well, I read a lot of these fan server discords, so that's how I knew Barncat was very active in them, and he did say that he um he liked how Guardians now have a control plan with Beta Ray Bill having a throw and Agent Venom having a throw. So I could see some sort of list that Barncat's trying to create here, where he maybe splashes in Doctor Strange, and so he just got that even more control on his team. I haven't seen something like that on the table, but I've seen him talking about it, and it sounds pretty interesting.
I'm interested to see now if we get to see that because you're right. Both Agent Venom and Beta Ray Bill give us a lot of extra control for the Guardians player, and Doctor Strange really compounds that while also allowing. I think it's probably fair to say he allows the rest of the team to use their winging it tokens offensively because he can provide the defensive tech.
So the crises here are pretty interesting because we have intrusions, which is a lot of people consider one of the strongest for the Guardians, and probably even stronger now that it doesn't damage you when you navigate through the portal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a an extract that it would be great for Weapon X because they're not going to be taking damage, or if they do take damage, they will just heal it off when they're done when their characters with healing factor are done their activations. So it'll be interesting to see if one of them can if who's going to take this.
I think I've cast at least 3 games with Luke, and I think we've had paranoia every single game. which is great. I love seeing it's the new extract. It's the new extract with the new mechanics such as the damage when you pick it up outside of range 2 of an allied character. It's got the extra victory point checkpoint as well. It's very very cool, and you're right. The change that they made to the dark portals is fantastic. Not taking damage as you go through, but there might be some counter synergy with the disturbances because intrusion still makes you drop the objective tokens, which would then cause another damage when you try to pick it up, assuming you're outside of range 2. All right, so
Yeah,
while our players are picking their rosters, I would like to mention that I mentioned earlier that Lucas is an active player in the TTS league, and he is currently, is it 5-0, Lucas?
that's right. I've made cut, and if I win the next game, I'm the Eastern bracket champion.
Absolutely amazing feat. And there are some very strong players in our Eastern bracket. Luke, why don't you tell us about some of the scalps you've collected?
Well, actually, I think it was the week 2. I had a game where it was the player who eliminated me from the from potentially making cut last season, Tom Sawyer. So I felt like I needed to get that win back. Got it, but then I guess the best player I faced was the season 8 champion, who beat me in the finals of that season, and I won that match earlier this week against Magic Nick. So it's just like I'm on like a redemption tour here, just beating all the players who beat me before. So um, yeah, it's pretty sweet. I've made cut once before, and so to do it with only for in the first 5 weeks, it just feels I'm riding a high right now.
Everybody loves a redemption arc, and it still I was mentioning before the stream started, it amazes me that you're still using Malekith. It's a tried and tested piece. You were one of the first players in our group to really go crazy with this character during the Hulk follow me stuff, which is obviously still a thing. But he's seen couple of nerfs to his kit. Now, do you think? I guess my next question is twofold. Do you think the nerfs have put him? Were they too harsh? And why? How are you still Why are you still enjoying Malekith as it is?
All right. Well, I've got a question to answer your question, and
Ooh.
it's what nerfs? He's still freaking amazing. Yeah, he's just broken. Like I don't know um the amount of times I roll my dice, and they roll dice and they get a good roll, and then I say, "Oh, I looks like I killed you with the exact amount of damage I needed to." It happens like way more than I it should, and um, it's just his leadership lets you correct mistakes that you made. So it's like I don't know. He's incredibly powerful, incredibly fast. So he can pivot to a scenario game. He can make your opponent think you're about to play scenario game, and then all of a sudden pivot to attrition or play attrition, and then like pretty quickly pivot to scenario if they put their characters in a position to play attrition or like to try to fight you in the attrition game. You can just be like, all right, psych, I'm doing this now. Um, he's just a problem for a lot of players, and so it kind of helps secure the wins.
That honestly, and I think the last time we were talking at a tournament when you were bringing Malekith, you had this sort of like childlike wonder at how you were already 50 games deep with Malekith, but you were still learning new things. You were still realizing that there was so much potential to this character, and it's astounding that you can be that many games deep and still be madly in love with the character.
Yeah, it's as long as I keep winning, I'm gonna keep having fun. That's just how it is.
Sometimes the two are synonymous. Uh, but it's nice to hear that you haven't been too impacted by the nerfs. For those watching, when Malekith came out, he had a couple of rules that, in the majority opinion, were a little bit too oppressive. He had a charge for 2 power, but there was an extra caveat that allowed him to throw a character, which didn't have a size restriction, so it was extremely powerful turn 1 play. And then his other thing that got changed was he was able to. Oh, what is it? He denied rerolls.
Yes.
So no one could offensively reroll against him, which made him both the killiest and one of the most tankiest characters in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, characters have been chosen, rosters have been chosen. I'm going to start with Luke just because he's our quote unquote protagonist for this series. So we have Logan, X-23, Apex Predator, and Doctor Strange. So it's nice that we get to see the defensive side of that. And the cards taken are Sacrifice, No Matter the Cost, Exceptional Healing, Dossier, and Are You Sure You Want to Remember? Very pretty, apart from Doctor Strange, pretty standard for a Weapon X roster. This is something we've seen Luke play a lot of before. Doctor Strange is obviously just the new piece. I personally really like the synergy with Doctor Strange and Weapon X because he can boost the defense outside of the memory tokens, and if you really, really need a character to stay alive, you can do them both at the same time. Have you?
That's really cool.
Yeah. Have you
That's
had?
cool.
Have you had any reps with into or with Weapon X, Luke? Lucas?
Yeah, I have, and I mean, as a player who likes to use hard hitting models, I'm not a fan of playing against exceptional healing, and it's so we'll see. I'm sure we'll see the card played because Guardians are they like to kill stuff.
Oh yeah, they like to kill stuff lots. Speaking of the Guardians, BarnCat has brought Star Lord, Beta Ray Bill, Groot, Rocket, and Agent Venom. So all of the wonderful stuff that Foreign Assignment can come with the double attacks from Rocket and Star Lord, get a little extra healing from Groot. Other cards we have are Brace for Impact, Follow Me, Deadly Duo, and We Are Groot. Follow Me is an interesting one. I used to play a lot of Follow Me back when I valued the power gem on Star Lord, but have since dropped it with cards like Bitter Rivals and Medpack rotating out. I just don't necessarily think there's a good battery for Follow Me, but maybe that's what Beta Ray Bill is for.
Yeah, I think that the general plan here is to maybe go with Rocket, who doesn't spend power too much, or he likes to spend it on spenders, and maybe he sacrifices like doing the spender attack for doing another builder, keeping him on high power, and then following me into Agent Venom. So you end up with a turn where Rocket gets to do 5 different attacks potentially into Agent Venom, who gets to do 2 attacks on his card plus 4 an assignment for more attacks, and you're looking at like a 60 dice into one activation or one turn. Um, it's there's lots of potential there for damage.
Now, I did mention that Luke is technically the protagonist of this series, but I would be lying if I said I didn't want to see that. That sounds like a brutal round of events. It sounds like a perfect storm, but if it happens, I won't be upset.
Let's see here. Yeah.
Yeah, but as you kind of alluded to there, Agent Venom playing on the top side of the board, closer to Rocket and Groot. On Luke's side, we have Logan towards the top side, or I guess the left side of the board, Doctor Strange in the middle, and X-23 on the right. Um, Interesting question for you. If you, um, let's say you're BarnCat, who do you put the dossier on?
Okay, so dossier. It's probably gonna go on Rocket, right? Just because he can bodyguard. He can like, transfer the. He can bodyguard with Groot, or Groot can bodyguard for Rocket, and so that they're not able to kill Rocket potentially until they deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the easiest decision, or it seems like the obvious choice. But we'll see. We'll see what decision BarnCat makes.
I think I'd agree. Rocket or Beta Ray Bill, just because Beta Ray Bill is a little bit tankier, you kind of force him to overinvest a little bit. But Rocket also makes a lot of sense, assuming that Logan can't throw that tree out of there.
Yeah, Logan only has a character throw, so he I'm just worried for like the beam. Logan, it's smart that Lu is going to be sending Logan in on his own. I think that he has enough damage output to deal with both Rocket and Groot um if he gets the power, if he gets like a good attack off on the first round or maybe opening in the second round. The beam means you're going to be hitting Groot twice with the beam probably.
Hmm.
Because I don't see Rocket surviving a 7 dice reroll two with a Wild Pierce on it.
It's unlikely.
So um, yeah, I think the deployment on Luke's side seems pretty reasonable to me.
All
And I
right.
think that BarnCat's probably gonna look at getting a shock out from Beta Ray Bill unless yeah, because he doesn't bring eyes on the prize, so he doesn't have a way to grab the middle and retreat back. It wouldn't surprise me if he tries to get a shock on Sabretooth early on, so that it minimizes his output for most of the game.
Yeah, shock can be a very, very crippling status condition to characters that absolutely want to get those double attacks each turn. All right, so we are in the Weapon X spend all of your team tactics cards phase. So, are you sure you want to remember? Goes on to X23, and the dossier has been put over. I didn't actually see where it went, and I don't think TTS has a very good indicator for where it's gone. I don't know where the dossier is.
Dang it, it's gone.
I think this happened in our last game. But it looks like Apex Predator played it. So Apex
Oh, here we go.
Predator.
Here
Okay.
we go. He's grabbing it again. So he's putting it on Agent
Venom.
Venom.
Okay. Interesting. So Apex Predator played the dossier, and BarnCat has decided to put it onto Agent Venom.
Interesting.
It might be, again, it might be one of those things where BarnCat's looking at it. He's got a very highly mobile character with lots of long range, someone who's going to be playing relatively safe. And he's got 4 physical defense against a almost entirely physical damage team. He might just be feeling very, very safe with that place.
Yeah, I think that to get to Agent Venom, he's gonna have to get through Beta Ray Bill's energy attack, and same with Star Lord's. And so he's gonna be taking some heat if he wants that dossier.
Mm-hmm. Worth noting that we are playing 16 threats by the looks of it. Yep, out of the 2 choices is 16 and 19. Luke taking priority, or Luke has priority, moving forward with X23 and picking up the disturbance. I think she's also looking to place within range 1 of the Dark Portal, which it looks like she is.
When you use the Dark Portal, you drop all objective tokens you're holding. It's an easy thing to forget, so we'll see if that comes up, because it can be a heartbreaking thing to do when you pay the power to use the portal and your opponent reminds you have to drop the extract.
I think I think I've made a mistake at least once where I've dropped multiple hammers going through a portal.
Oh yeah, I did that recently too, and thankfully it was a low scoring game, and it was mostly just who can kill who the fastest, so it wasn't a game breaking decision. But yeah, it's easy to miss. It's easy.
One thing to kind of mention about terrain size, we don't have a whole like obvious. We do have a couple of characters that can throw, and BarnCat does have brace. We don't have anything above size 3. We've got a good amount of size 2s and mostly size 3s. Even the large trees are size 3s. So a lot of terrain, but nothing huge.
Yeah, I mean, they can even also we've got Sabretooth throwing himself too. So, but yeah, so size 3 is still a respectable amount of damage. Four damage coming through. It's like the equivalent of like a 7 dice strike
Mm-hmm.
on average. So um, it's throws are, and then he might just use them. BarnCat might just use them for displacement purposes too as well. We'll see. We'll see how they use those powers.
Yeah, because both Agent Venom and Beta Ray Bill can choose to throw either terrain or characters. And then everyone always forgets about Groot, but Groot has a throw attached to his spender as well. You don't often get to see it, and mostly you're doing it for the stagger, but it is a medium throw with no size restriction. Alright, so Groot's turn was pretty predictable. Moves up, grabs the disturbance at the top side, also within range of the dark portal. Takes his damage. Logan has then moved to the middle here, is now contesting the central dark portal and picks up the other disturbance there. So now it looks like we're going to be going with. I wonder if BarnCat is going to concede the other disturbance or if he's going to put Beta Ray Bill into a risky position, knowing that he isn't going to have priority. And it looks like he is going to go for the disturbance. Now, this is an interesting choice because you still got Doctor Strange to go, who has the ability of putting Beta Ray Bill really out of his comfort zone.
I think this is what BarnCat is thinking about here. He doesn't want to get pushed if Doctor Strange moves up and attacks Beta Ray Bill. He doesn't want to get pushed towards Sabretooth. So I think he's thinking about that with this silo here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he positioned a little further up than he really needed to. We'll see. Maybe it's the cover. Maybe it's helping with cover as well. Beta Ray Bill is size 3, size 2.
Bill is size 2 behind the size 3 piece. So that is blocking line of sight. So I guess that does mean that Doctor Strange has to take more of an angle if he wants to get that attack off. All right, but now we've reached the point where extracts have all been claimed, so let's let the killing commence. Guardians loves to throw some dice turn 1. Weapon X can usually weather the storm, and we've got the winging it tokens on some characters that love to roll some dice, and he also put a defensive one onto Beta Ray Bill there.
Yeah, I think that the characters are positioned in a way that's there's not gonna be a lot of shooting in round 1. Rocket isn't gonna hit anyone that maybe he can hit Logan. It's hard to see now, but it would probably put him out of position to get the bodyguard online with Groot, I think. So I think round 2 will be much bloodier. I mean, it usually is anyway, but
yeah, Rocket's for sure going to go and keep Groot company, make sure that he gets that bonus victory point from Paranoia online, because he's definitely not going to want to go and keep Beta Ray Bill company.
Looks like he's setting up a no matter the cost with Sabretooth here.
Good use of the card, get a nice early move and place out of the way. That's going to allow him to contest the central portal as well, while also throwing in an attack.
Okay, so
it is also worth mentioning that Beta Ray Bill spent his other power after picking up the disturbance to ignore the damage from it with his Corbinite implants.
I was just wondering that. So thank you for mentioning.
It's the same kind of ability as Juggernaut. You can spend whenever you take damage, so it could stop things like bleed. So that's not a very good attack from Sabretooth. It looks like Beta Ray Bill is going to be blocking all of it. There is a pierce, so he'll squeak 1 damage through, but that's not what you want to see of that as well. He said confidently, waiting for things to happen.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get the place. He'll place on the portal to be securing it.
I'm wondering if Luke forgot the pierce.
Oh, it is optional, I believe, right? You may change 1.
It just says change 1, but may have just slipped his mind. But that's all. And I think that he's also Beta Ray Bill was immune to the bleed anyway.
Okay.
Okay, and that is Sabretooth done. Takes his damage from no matter the cost and should heal it back. And this is where Star Lord just wants to move up and start rolling some dice. Let the, David in the chat says, "Let the bodies hit the floor." Absolutely, it's going to be a very bloody turn two. Guardians would love to set up for a nice hectic round two. Well, BarnCat's definitely been on stream before, indicating to us where the attack is going. So Star Lord is going to roll a 5-die energy attack into Logan, and it looks like he has spent a memory token, so he'll be rolling 6 dice for this. And without the use of a winging it token, it looks like Logan is going to block. Logan's blocking 2, so there's a good window for extra damage here. Winging it token spent, no damage. So that is a sad Star Lord. Now, I'll be interested to see if Logan will take his small advance here. I'm not sure if it would be the correct play, just because it gets him in closer to Agent Venom.
So I think so let's see. I noticed that Blair is watching the game as an accuser. So if there's any sort of things, rules that are missed, that he'll jump in and get that. And I think that just in general, all dice modifications are maze, like
They're
for
optional.
example cover. So I think that it would be why um, that wouldn't have been mentioned to the players in the
Gotcha.
middle of the game.
Okay, makes sense. And you're an accuser yourself as well. Now, accusers are just basically rules judges for the TTS League.
Yeah, they're there to help if someone calls a judge, and or if someone wants a judge to be in the server while the game is being played, then yeah, that's I wanted to do this because I had a couple of games in a previous season where I wanted a judge, but there were none available, and so I was like, so I was eager to apply to be one, and I was lucky enough to be selected after taking a pretty difficult rules test. But yeah, I just like being a part of the community. I haven't had a single bad experience playing this game, and so I'm grateful that I got to get to do more in the community.
That's awesome. I might have to pick your brain about that test you took earlier.
Oh, of course.
So right now we've got Doctor Strange going into Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill is blocking 2 of it right off the hop and doesn't have power to block any further. So Doctor Strange is going to explode his criticals. And he does have the option of re-rolling everything after the criticals have exploded. So he can either take his 3, which will be 1 damage, or he can re-roll the whole thing.
Interesting.
Going for the re-roll. Same thing, grabs the 3, gets his damage through, which guarantees the move. So Doctor Strange, just the original one over here, on his Bolts of Bedevilment, if the attack deals damage, he may push the target character small. So it's not an advance, so he wouldn't be able to like go over characters. It's just a push in a direction.
So where's he gonna go?
I feel like he's a little limited in where he can go.
Beta Ray Bill has a range 2 builder, and he has no power. It seems like a general idea might be to just get him into a spot where he has to take at least 1 move action on his next activation. So we'll see. He might not end up pushing him, though. It looks like he passed it. Oh, he ended the turn.
He definitely did. Now, it might not have mattered in the long run because Beta Ray Bill does have aggressive by a different name. Honor bound. If this character suffers damage, it may advance small towards the attacking character.
Right. I haven't played against or with him yet, so I missed that one. But yeah, that's good. That's an extra. That's nice for him, especially like I just said, because he doesn't have much action economy. He's going to be doing a lot of moving and attacking if he didn't have that. So that's nice.
It's his only real movement tech. Everything else is very static. He wants to attack twice, but his only way of really getting in there is by honor bound. So Agent Venom has moved up. Looks like he's trying to get within range 4 of Doctor Strange for a symbiote firepower, I think it's called. Clintar firepower. So 5 dice physical going into Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange is... Oh, no, it looks like it's going into Logan, because this is 4 physical dice being rolled here. Okay, pretty awful roll by both players, but Agent Venom does have a Winging It token on him and is able to get an extra damage through. So that's going to be 2 damage, I believe, onto Logan. Not bad. No wild was rolled, so no bleed. Agent Venom just is fantastic. Being able to loan himself to the battle plan that Guardians already have while giving them some extra tools. Built-in Incinerate, no defensive rerolls allowed, and of course his movement and his throw are all just tools that Guardians would love to see. Maybe they didn't need them, but they'll happily take them.
Yeah, the it's interesting that Logan is this is the concern I thought I had at the beginning of the game with Logan coming to the middle here, is that now he's around his buddies and now he's not going to get those extra 2 rerolls on his kit that he has on his kit if he's kind of has the lone wolf approach.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. There's no mystic attacks on the Guardian side, so he's not going to be uh, damaging his friends if he gets hit by mystic attacks this game. But still, like you really feel the missing 2 dice with Logan when he's not by himself.
Now, that being said, Logan does have a huge opportunity of being able to place himself off of his builder. So he could easily attack into Agent Venom and place himself into reroll range, basically. And Agent Venom is the one holding the dossier. So
Ooh.
He's put himself into a very interesting position.
And any Weapon X character can pick it up and benefit from it. Is that correct?
Correct, but the character who played... Oh, sorry, Apex Predator played the dossier, so only Apex Predator would get to get all the full rerolls from it. But any Weapon X character can pick up the dossier and get the benefits.
Get a long move and 2 extra dice to their attack rolls. Yeah, it's the dossier is a great card for a mission like this where all of the crises scenarios are in the middle, on the midline. So it's yeah, I think it was a good card pick here.
So that looks like the end of round 1. I've counted 5-3, but the score seems to be showing 4-3. Now Luke is holding both the middle and the bottom portal while also holding 2 of the disturbances and has the range 2 trigger, so that should be 5. There we go. Looks like the players have corrected it. And BarnCat gets 3 for holding the top portal and also getting 2 disturbances plus the trigger. Sorry, he doesn't... I guess he wouldn't have the trigger. No, he does have the trigger. So he should be having 4. What am I missing here?
1, 2, 3... Yeah, he should have... He has 2 plus the top.
Mm-hmm. BarnCat should be at 4 here. I'm wondering if someone will...
I'll message Blair and I'll ask him.
Yeah, nice. Benefit of having an accuser in the group is you can have someone with connections. But going into round 2, Luke will have priority because BarnCat activated his character last. The Winging It tokens have been handed out to Rocket, Beta Ray Bill, and Agent Venom. And if I'm in this position with priority, my first instinct is to activate with probably Logan just to trigger the healing factor. And it looks like the score has been changed for BarnCat to accurately reflect the extra point from Paranoia. Again, it's a new extract, so people are still kind of getting used to the ins and outs of it, and getting the extra victory point is something that most people seem to be missing.
Yeah, and they did make a rules change to it where if you're the character within two, your friendship bonus, I like to call it, if they're dazed, you don't get your friendship bonus.
I like it, the friendship bonus. So whereas there are some abilities that still trigger even if your allied character is dazed, this
So
seems like
it's
it's not one of them.
because there's a specific line in the rules that it says dazed characters cannot contribute to scoring or
Mm-hmm.
something very similar to that word. I'm paraphrasing, but that's why the dazed characters um, don't uh, don't help with that.
Makes sense. So it looks like we got a 5 die attack into 3. It looks like we've got Logan going into Star Lord. Star Lord puts himself a little bit too close um, to harm's way, but doesn't look like he's going to be punished off of the initial roll. But this will allow Logan to place himself within range 1 of Star Lord, which will turn on his innate rerolls.
Yes, yes, and he's got 3 power, so he could do a throw, um, and he could pay for a throw to happen after the attack is resolved. The problem with attacking characters that have healing factor is if you can't take them out, or if you're just like tickling them with a one attack, they're basically getting free power because they're going to use healing factor and lose all the damage. Especially Logan, who has healing factor too.
Absolutely. So he took 1 damage from player. He allows him to pick up the disturbance with impunity as well. It's just chip damage doesn't mean anything.
So he's going into Rocket, who then bodyguards it to Groot.
Okay, this is an interesting play because it's going to allow him to get onto that dark portal. It looks like Groot is blocking absolutely nothing. And Luke is about to use his rerolls. He gets 2 innate rerolls for being far away from his allies. Oh, okay, so he's gonna do 1 damage. Um,
It should be
I
it
guess
should be
technically he's in
2.
cover.
The cover would be removed from with the Pierce modification. So
Ah,
he would, if he remembers to do that, he would get 2 damage through on Groot.
looks like only the 1 was applied. Oh, there we go. There's the second one. So now Logan's going to place. He's going to heal the damage that he was dealt over the previous turns, and he's now contesting the top portal.
It's pretty funny because he got 2 attacks off and then ended up at another portal and didn't have to use the portal.
He's so
Uh,
quick. I love Logan. He's so rapid. Uh,
yeah.
Now Luke needs to remember that his healing factor kicks in. Otherwise, that's gonna make for a very. That's gonna make him very sad.
I believe healing factor is mandatory. So let me just check on that.
Rocket has spent 2 for Deadly Duo. The damage going on to Groot has allowed him to also contribute the 2 power. And I think we also saw that both Sabretooth and Doctor Strange were within range 5. So we're going to do Rocket into Logan, who has spent a memory token. So this is going to be 5 into 6.
So the healing factor is a may. It's not mandatory. So unfortunately, we're a little bit of inexperience maybe is causing a small rules miss here for Luke, which
Maybe
is it's a bummer. Hey, you don't like to see it, but this is the game.
now it could have absolutely bit him in the butt right there because even with the memory token, okay, it looks like they've done it retroactively. So even with the memory
Okay.
token, he rolled 3 hits, 3 blanks, so absolutely nothing. So that means that Rocket was getting 3 damage through. That would put him to 5. I think they're retroactively taking into account exceptional healing, so this should leave Logan with 3 damage on him, unless the argument is being made that he missed the window to do so.
They might be having a quick discussion here on that. There was a game last season that BarnCat had where um, he basically his opponent did something which involved not attacking or something to that degree, and it would have been a significant attack sequence, but he there was a misplaced activated token, and it altered the decision that BarnCat's opponent made in that activation, and his BarnCat's opponent brought that up, and BarnCat basically let him rewind his turn, and it was very nice of him to do that. So I can see if BarnCat gives a little bit of wiggle room, but he's not obligated to.
Now, it's nice. It's nice to hear that BarnCat is one of those players. I also know that Luke is one of those players that if he misses something and his opponent says, "Hey, you could have done this," Luke will say, "I'm not going to learn unless I do this the hard way." So BarnCat may have pointed that out, and Luke may have just been like, "Nah, I'll take the L. I deserve it." So that leaves Logan with 5 health, and that looked like a huge attack from Rocket into Doctor Strange, which actually resulted in 0 damage. So now we have Rocket going into Sabretooth. This is all still part of Deadly Duo, so Rocket still has 2 actions he can make. He's 1-1, so relatively decent. We are Deadly Duo turn, almost getting rid of Logan. It should be easy pickings for Rocket or Groot to finish off there. So it's just a matter of what BarnCat chooses to do with his last 2.
It's top of 2 is a great time for Deadly Duo. Usually, it gets a lot of the attrition train moving, and so I'm not surprised he played the card.
Looks like BarnCat has prioritized Sabretooth as the target, so we're going to be seeing a 5 dice energy into 3 energy defense. Now, this is going to power up the Angry Cat. So if he doesn't deal with Sabretooth here, then Sabretooth is going to have a lot of power to go on the hunt, and Agent Venom is nearby.
He spent a memory token for the roll here.
He did. Has paid off, so 2 blocks, only 1 success. So 3 blocks, so no damage, but this is, again, going to allow Sabretooth to move, putting him into a potentially really, really scary position. If he remembers the trigger, which it doesn't look like he did.
It's optional, I'm sure, right? The advance.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure he would have. I'm confident he would have remembered he had the advance option. I don't know. It's leaderships are often like the last puzzle piece that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
To play a team successfully, because like you've played the characters before, but maybe just like not together, in like splashes or here or there, and it's really the leadership that can kind of like bring the whole squad together, and you're just not used to playing that, and you can easily forget it. It took me like 20 games to remember Mal's leadership, and I guess like the thinking I have is just like be excited to trigger it, like just be excited to trigger it, and use the effects, and like say the effects out loud every time, and then eventually, and then that's kind of like how I remembered, and I think I haven't forgotten a trigger in a while now.
Help commit it to
But
memory.
yeah,
It can be very, very upsetting when either like an effect of a team tactics card that you've played, or even your leadership ability, the point that you've built your roster around, it can be very, very upsetting to forget that. Looks like Luke is currently measuring to see if Doctor Strange can get within range to heal Logan. So taking this opportunity to go out and help his buddy here. The Deadly Duo turn was obviously very decent. This is going to leave Sabretooth kind of out to dry here, but he does have... looks like we're seeing a booby traps roll for no damage. Still leaving Rocket on that wonderful 2-power thing that Agent Venom would love to see. So he's moved over, and he is using... I can never remember... Oshter's Refuge? That's the one. Healing 3 damage from Logan, putting him back to the 2 that he should have been at with healing factor.
interesting. That's pretty cool. I wonder why he opted not to try to use the portal. I guess like the risk of missing it was not fun, but like my thinking would be use the portal. If you miss it, you use the other portal, and hopefully you get it at that point in time. And then maybe if you get an attack off, that will give you the power you lost, and you're back to where you were, but you got to do an attack. Um, but this is good for Logan though because he now has a window of opportunity to play exceptional healing if he really needs it, and it'll keep him alive and probably near full health. What's happening now?
We're seeing
He's playing
foreign
foreign
assignment.
assignment.
We are seeing an Agent Venom. He has spent 4 power,
Ooh.
which means he is looking to use
Oh,
Star-Lord's full auto and Rocket Raccoon in the same turn. So it's going to start
looks
off.
like it.
I think we're going to be starting off with a full auto. Yep, 7 dice energy going into Sabretooth. I don't believe he has any memory tokens left, so this is just going to be on Sabretooth's 3 here. I hope you can forgive me, Luke. I'm very excited for this turn. Okay, so
Cool.
3 damage to 2, relatively respectable. He gets 2 wild, so that means that's going to be 2
Two
status
conditions.
conditions onto
Ooh.
Sabretooth. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with what's happening right now, Foreign Assignment is a team tactics card that came with Agent Venom. It basically allows him to spend 2 power for each effect that he wants to use during a turn. And one of the effects is he can use the full auto attack from Star-Lord for free. So he gets to use a 7 dice energy attack for absolutely free, and every time he rolls a wild, he can apply bleed, shock, slow, or stun to the character, which looks like he has chosen stun and shock, both crippling effects for Sabretooth.
And then he gets a short move right after he does Star Lord's full auto, and so he's using that now to get cover from the size 3 piece of terrain.
It's also going to allow him to get within range 2 of Rocket to trigger his effect because he wasn't within range 2 initially. So he'll also get a short move after Rocket's after getting his free attack from being close to Rocket. So he's rolled a 7 dice attack. He's about to roll a 5 dice attack, and he still hasn't made any actions yet. I love this card.
Yeah. Deadly Duo and Foreign Assignment is like just getting like that 1-2 punch, and it's a lot of dice.
So this is going to be a Clintar Firepower. It looks like it's going into, I want to say it's Doctor Strange here. And we've got 2 successes to 1 block. Now, Doctor Strange would probably be okay with taking this, but he has the option of re-rolling it all if he wants to. A Winging It token being spent first before Doctor Strange is given the option. Ooh, resulting in 2 more hits, so that's going to be 4. So Doctor Strange probably wants to re-roll this.
Oh, he's taking it.
He's taking it. Okay, so 3 damage onto Doctor Strange there. And again, that's a team tactics card right there. That's he still has 2 actions left, and he is within range 4 of Doctor Strange, so he can just lay on the pain there. Matt,
perfect thing with that attack on Doctor Strange is it generated him power, so he can use the other superpowers on his card if he really needs to.
Exactly. Hoggoth's Hoary Wisdom is one of the best defensive reasons to bring Doctor Strange. Matt in chat says, I still forget to do Goblin's leadership a lot, right? Like, and it just hurts because sometimes you forget about it, and then maybe it could have been the difference between leaving that character on 1 health or dazing them. Growing pains for people, even if you've played the game for a couple of years.
Looks like he's doing the small move after the rocket, the power he used on Foreign Assignment. So now he's done with Foreign Assignment, and he moved basically the equivalent of like a move, 2 move actions.
Oh, okay. So he spent his 3 power. He's using Old Star Quarterback, I believe, and he is throwing the size 3 container that he's right next to at Doctor Strange.
Ooh, ouch. And he doesn't have brace for impact, so Strange is going to be he's going to need to make a great block here if he wants to stay alive, stay healthy.
And that's a decent start.
He needs 1 more to convert.
And he does
Oh,
not. Now, I do not believe Eye of Agamotto lets you reroll dodge rolls. It does not. So that is Doctor Strange being dazed there. And still, Agent Venom has not made an action.
that's that's actually kind of crazy. Oh my
Isn't
gosh.
that's pretty insane. I love it. I love every single second about it. So now he gets to make his two actions into Logan, one of which can be a grenade bounce if he generates a power off of this first Clintar firepower. 2-2, so no power there. So probably just another Clintar firepower from Agent Venom. I have a weird question for you, Lucas.
Yeah.
So we just watched BarnCat erase all the dice rather than just reselecting them all into the tray. Do you have any superstitious tendencies when you're playing TTS? Do you have to click the roll button a certain number of times?
I mean, like your dice gotta get some momentum with the dice, the roll clicker. So like, yeah, we gotta press it a few times. It's when players just press it once, it's like it's like the dice are gonna just like show the same face as they just did, and I don't know. The yeah, I that's basically like the thing. I click it a few times.
Mm-hmm. I've met a couple of people who are okay with just clicking it once or twice. I've seen
Oh
people who
man.
they have to click it at least like 5 or 7 times, and sometimes when it's a tense roll and they just keep on clicking the roll dice button, you're just like, stop, let the dice drop.
Let's see here. The um Venom
Ended up,
Venom hit Wolverine
yeah,
bleed. That's good. Is that auto bleed? No, it's a wild bleed trigger.
it's a wild bleed. So for all the good that Foreign Assignment did in dazing Doctor Strange and putting Agent Venom over on the objective, the two attacks that then followed up into Logan only did 1 damage and put the bleed on. Again, not a bad thing. It's just now it's up to Groot to hopefully get rid of Doctor Strange or get rid of Logan, but he is now controlling that top dark portal. So if Lu wants to get back over there, he's going to have to take one of the portals.
Yeah, this is a great turn around two for BarnCat here. He used two backline models that with the amount of power and the cards are very efficient at getting lots of dice into the enemy team, and now he gets to use the rest of his team to basically clean up
Mm-hmm.
and just try to score as many VPs as possible, or set up um, get some as many flips as possible, and so that the characters are injured. Uh, it's very very good two activations for BarnCat.
I'm in love with Foreign Assignment. Getting 2 moves and 2 attacks for 4 power is fantastic. Irrespective of the fact that he only did 1 damage to Logan after the fact, that much mobility and that much damage just coming off of a team tactics card is amazing.
Yeah. So Rocket attacked twice. So that's 25 dice he threw, and then for an assignment gave him 7 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, so that's 22. So BarnCat with two characters rolled like what was that, 47 dice?
Yeah, rolled a lot of dice. So now we're seeing Apex Predator going into Beta Ray Bill. Now he is shocked, so he'll be rolling 1 fewer dice. Looks like now I'm good. Just a little bit of lag. So it looks like we're doing a secondary attack now.
Might have been the spender because he rolled 5.
He did.
Yeah, that shock on if going from 5 dice to 4 dice is just like you just feel so weak, and I don't play a lot of 4 dice attack characters. So going from 4 to 3 must like it just like I know the feeling. It just feels like absolutely debilitating.
It hurts. It
It's
hurts.
like it's a stagger basically. Like you have to shake it or else your character does like will do nothing.
And the same could be said for stun. Specifically onto Apex Predator, he is a very power hungry character, and him only being able to generate one per attack or being attacked is just completely cripples him. So the combination of shock and stun, significantly stronger than putting slow on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think they caught the mistake because he was rolling 5 dice. So I actually think they're re-rolling the attack and rolls rolls significantly better on the lower attack. Isn't that just how it works?
Yeah, I see that. I think that BarnCat's probably okay with this in general too now because now um he can control Sabretooth with a throw and or maybe do more bad things with that power. So we'll see.
So Sabretooth is spending his 3 power. It looks like he's going to be throwing Beta Ray Bill out of dodge. Setting him up for an X-23.
Yeah, I'd imagine he probably activates Beta Ray Bill if he's within threat range of X-23. X-23 only has 1 power though, so
Yeah.
needs it to be range 2 for that threat to be real. Oh, he's got aggressive to from the attack that
Mm-hmm.
that they're triggering so that he can't get thrown that direction. It looks like.
Seems to be a pretty decent position here for BarnCat. Like he's had a relatively decent turn. Dazing Doctor Strange always feels good. Apex Predator, effectively Spade. Um, you still got Star Lord, who's a relatively quick character to go with. You've still got Beta Ray Bill, who's when he can get his attacks in, he's golden.
Yeah, BarnCat is a good player. I mean, he made cut last season, and he unfortunately he lost on time. They both players were down to like sub 2 minutes on their clocks,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it went even lower than that. And just to basically lose because you ran out of decision time is just like it's just. I mean, like, oh man, like it's a bummer. But I mean, um, the clocks are there. You have to manage your clocks when you're in cut, and so
So I have a question about that actually. I've played with chess clocks in Warhammer, and if your clock runs out, you just don't get to move your pieces anymore. And if your opponent still has time, they can continue playing. Is running out of clock in MCP the same?
so the way it works is they've got clocks in Top Cut. So this game this week and next week they won't have any, but when after that for the rest of the season they'll have it. And if your clock runs out, you lose. That's just it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a death clock is what I think it's called, and so the pressure is immense, especially when you're down to like less than 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was playing in the finals, and I had sub 7 minutes left when the game was over, and man, it just like it's an exponential increase in pressure every 10 minutes that goes by. It's just a completely it's just different. If you haven't done it, it feels way different to play with a death clock than without one.
That sounds extremely intense. And I guess it even makes it a little bit more sad that Barncat lost on time that
Right?
one time.
Yeah. It was a pretty close game too. It was Shield versus Guardians, and so lots of shooting involved, and yeah, it was um yeah, it's you just got to be careful of your clocks. But in this game, they've got as much time as they want to take. So hopefully they use the appropriate amount and make the best decisions they can.
So what we're seeing right now is Beta Ray Bill rolled an attack into Sabretooth. 2 damage was able to get through, and it looks like Beta Ray Bill is just resolving a throw to put Apex Predator into double tap range for Star Lord. Now Star Lord does also have hit and run, so he won't be in harm's way after the attack. But this is a pretty good. This is a really good Beta Ray Bill activation. Now, you were mentioning a little bit earlier that Luke has a maybe not be the most experienced player. I don't think he's played into Guardians before, and we do have two new pieces on the table, but this style of play is relatively unique in today's game. We've had iterations of big shooty game or big shooty rosters like Shadowlands, Daredevil, even Shield to some extent. But can you think of anything that you can compare closer to Guardians?
Um, I don't know. I don't play a lot of against this Guardians type of list. Usually, I'm like practicing against the Thanos version, and it plays a little differently than this. But um, I think BarnCat's experience with his team is really showing here. He's like basically set up his next activations to be as optimized as possible. Um, and like he's like kind of doing a lot of chain reaction kind of things. He's activating characters when they have enough power to do the things they want to do, and he's holding off on the characters that don't need to activate right away. I think that he's playing very well into Weapon X.
He's not living. He's not really giving Luke easy choices or easy options. So after Beta Ray Bill's turn is done, the only character we have left is X-23. Now he has the option of passing, but it looks like he's going through the portal. He has
Ooh,
remembered
he's dropping the token too.
now there isn't really a bad place for him to go, but there isn't. I wonder where he chooses to go if he gets this. He does.
Yeah,
He does get it. Where is he going?
I wonder if yeah, it's interesting. I wonder the timing on this. Should BarnCat have dropped the objective before the role had been done? Because obviously now BarnCat has like perfect information with as to where the objective gets dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Or like not perfect but better because he knows that X-23 gets to go where she wants to go. So yeah, it's not that it was going to matter too much. It's going to be but maybe Star Lord. I don't know. I just don't see Star Lord going to get that piece. Um, he could though. He could double move to the portal if he can't reach it in a single move. Hit the portal. It's only getting him one VP actually, so we'll see how that goes. But um, this is I can X-23. I think this is the right call here because you want to remove this bonus VP situation here that he's going to get. He's getting two VPs for this. Um, and if he can day screw it, of course. If he can day screw it, then he's stopping BarnCat from getting a big lead or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to take your turns just to for damage control, and this might be one of those moments.
X-23 can have some big hits here. 5 days with a reroll, Wild Pierce, Wild Bleed.
Looks like she's going into the tree. Gets 3-0. This
Ooh,
could
wow, that
if
could be it. If you can,
oh,
here he converts it.
so that's 4, but he also has the reroll. I think
It
that's a
doesn't
day's
matter.
it's
It's
a
already
dazed
got him.
tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is you are absolutely you called it as it was about to happen. That is a dazed tree. Lots of power for Laura there, who can now take her turn to swing into Venom if she chooses to. She is also she can pick up the disturbance, so nothing gained, nothing lost.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And she doesn't take damage for that either because she's with her with Logan.
mhm. And she has the
Um,
power. She now has the power to do
yeah,
a claw rush and hit a very exposed raccoon if she chooses to.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe that's what you do there because you can get the potentially get the dossier. Um, is she okay? She's still gonna go. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
she could hit Rocket too with her spender if she wanted to. 6 dice with a Pierce and a reroll. It might just be able to. It might flip Rocket too. Rocket is very vulnerable right now.
I mean, you called it. X-23 does have those big swing turns. She seems she seems to have them more than most other characters.
Yeah, I mean, Baron Zemo hits hard. He can hit hard, right? People are a
Oh,
little
absolutely.
concerned about his attacks, but she that wild, right? That wild basically counts as two successes because you remove a defensive roll.
Now we are seeing a claw rush. We are seeing a claw rush into Rocket, and we're
Ooh,
seeing a okay,
ooh, oh,
two
two
blocks,
blocks, but
but
still
we have
pierce
the
one.
Pierce. That is a
Oh, got him.
dazed raccoon. That is an angry X-23. Holy!
Yeah, I think Luke needed this to, um, he needed something like this to really because he was getting attritioned pretty hard here. So to get two dazes in his last activation, um, must make
Absolutely
him feel
huge.
a little yeah, it's a little better here because if he has another good turn, Groot's off the table, and same with Rocket.
And the way that X-23 has been placed, and the way that uh, he didn't trigger the elusive, Star-Lord doesn't really have a way in there unless he wants to go right into the middle and set up a perfect Wolverine beam on the next turn. So Star-Lord really only has a couple of choices. It looks like he's going to take his first shot going into Sabretooth. He's not using hit and run, so I think he's just rolling for damage here. And memory token was spent, and it is going to be 2-2, so no damage there. So what is he going to do with his second action? I'm very intrigued by this. So I had a thought pass my mind. Maybe ignoring Sabretooth was the correct play. Maybe he should just be running away here because Sabretooth is stunned and shocked. If you daze Sabretooth, he gets rid of those. And
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
leaving him crippled like that is almost where you want the cat.
So if Star Lord double moved and hit this portal, I don't know if his base fits in with this cluster with Wolverine, and if it doesn't, and he and Star Lord has a bad roll, it means that Luke is forced to put Star Lord on the other Dark Portal, um, assuming Star Lord initially interacted with the middle one, right? If he has nowhere to place on the top one, no matter what, he has to go to the bottom one. It would get him a VP. I think. Oh, he's playing exceptional healing here. So
Yeah,
BarnCat had an amazing role, and to survive, Sabretooth is playing exceptional. I think I think I would have let Sabretooth get got here and and get rid of those conditions that you mentioned because those are really brutal for his kit.
I think I completely agree with you there. I think that letting Sabretooth go down there so that he comes back healthier is was the better play. Um, and also
Yeah,
keeping no matter the cost alive for no matter the cost. Sorry, exceptional healing
exceptional.
online for one of your objective holders, so Laura or Logan.
Yeah, I think that would have. I think looking back, he might think that. I've been talking to other players who are much more experienced with these healing factor characters, and the general advice I'm getting is that you typically don't want to spend exceptional healing until they're on their injured side. Um, and so I think that yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Star Lord could have moved to an intrusion portal and captured one for one VP, but burning exceptional here and putting Sabretooth at 2 health um, means you could easily daze him whenever you want in many cases. So that was seems like it was a good option for BarnCat.
So that's round two done. 4-2 for Weapon X, getting the friendship bonus as you called it, plus the one dark portal at the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and Guardians only getting the two because Beta Ray Bill is all on his own. The winging it tokens are going on to Groot, Venom, and Star Lord. Now I agree with Groot because Logan's in a really tasty position right here. Like he is triple beam range right now. Venom obviously makes sense as well. Star Lord's kind of a weird one. I feel it's either Star Lord or Rocket, and I feel maybe he feels like Rocket's on his way down here.
Yeah, I think the Yeah, he's doing it. He's doing the beam. I think that is like the clear decision to make here. Even if you do tag X-23, which I think you can avoid,
You can absolutely
it
avoid that.
looks like you can. I think you can get the triple beam here,
Yeah.
and ooh, it's they're measuring it and it's tight. But even if you only get it on Rocket and Groot,
Oh,
it
yeah.
means you're getting probably 2 attacks into Groot, and that's just a lot of pain.
That is, I think that's 100% in range. All three characters can be touched by the beam. This could be a very, very scary turn. Now, you had mentioned earlier that obviously Logan does better when he's off on his own, so he's not going to have his rerolls, but this is still going to be a 21 dice roll that he can do twice. Logan is
Yeah,
about to roll
yeah.
42 dice.
Potentially, he does have to place within one of his last target. So hopefully Luke makes a good call here and into who he goes into last. So to set him if he wants to do 2 beams,
Mhm.
because if he could end up being in a spot where he's within one of. Actually, maybe he's got some flexibility here to set up a triple beam again. So yeah, 42 dice in one character activation seems pretty good to me.
Okay, so this is
Oh
interesting.
man,
This is interesting because BarnCat's only rolling 2 defense dice. Is he tanking this on Rocket?
oh, he might be just he might be so that Groot doesn't take.
That's a dead Rocket. He only rolled 2 defense dice.
Oh wow. Um,
Yeah, that's a dead Rocket. Okay, why didn't he bodyguard that?
maybe he knew Groot couldn't survive 2 of these, but
Potentially. Okay, well.
Logan's clapback ability is
Oh my
unreal.
God, Logan, stop it.
Ouch.
Okay, so that's 5 damage onto whomever he's attacking here.
Yeah, because the pierce and there's a bleed on it too. If he didn't kill them, I guess he's not killing them because they both have more than 5 health.
I think that was into Groot. Nope, that's going into Venom. What are the players discussing here? That looked like 5 damage to me. Did he roll too many dice?
He's not. I don't think so.
Nope,
Blue.
that's 5 damage into Venom. Okay, and a bleed. And now we're going into Tree.
Oh
Okay,
man, Logan.
Logan is angry. Oh my
Wow, he blocks
God.
nothing.
4 unanswered damage into Groot. Okay,
Does he
so
wing in it? He might play the wing in it
so
here.
five,
Oh, now he's
nine,
taking it.
5, 9, and 3. He just did 17 damage. Holy
With 21 dice.
on 21, and he gets to do it again.
Oh,
It,
that's crazy. Wow, 17 damage on 21 dice. Like that's man, that's like
that,
game defining damage, like easily. And that's just a lot of damage. I don't know how anyone could kind of
yeah,
manage through that. That's brutal.
Matt in chat says roadkill. Yeah, absolutely. When Logan is angry and he wants to, he can. So it looks like he's going to be doing another beam. 4 dice. This could be either of the targets. I'm going to assume it's going into Venom first because he probably. Oh no, he probably wants to go into Groot first and target Venom last, so he gets the place off of a character. That's
Let's see.
5.
It's
That's
still
5 into 3.
2.
So I guess it's a question of if 5 into 3. This isn't going to. If this was into Groot, it's not going to KO him. If this was into Venom, this is going to KO him. But he could use winging it here.
It'll injure Venom. But yeah. Um oh, it's into Groot.
Okay,
So Groot lives.
Groot
And
lives with
now Venom could be injured here or dazed.
dazed. Yeah, so that's
He probably will
yeah,
be with that pierce.
Pierce and the crit.
Yeah.
Interesting. The damage has been taken off of Groot. Did
Hmm.
did they? Oh, okay. So I think they mistook the target. I think Venom was the target of the first one.
Oh, gotcha. And this is the
Yeah. So
okay.
this is the dossier being placed. This has been an absolutely brutal turn for Logan so far. He can't pick it up currently. He's not going to have the power to pick it up right now, but he's placing it near Laura. So that means that if BarnCat wants to get this away from him, then Groot's going to need to go and pick it up if he lives, and Star-Lord needs to do it too. So this is going into Groot, so that's 3. He's blocking 1, but he's being pierced, so Groot will be taking 3 damage, which is going to be enough to
He's
K.
he'll play the wing in it
He-
to hope to survive.
He can only reroll the 1 dice because he's got two failures, but this needs to go through. It does. Oh, okay. Whew. So Groot will live with 1 health, with bleed, and enough power to stagger 2 characters.
Right. So, but I think he'll probably end up using 2 of his power to heal 3, so that he doesn't die from the bleed, and he'll probably use a power to hit a portal. He'll probably only get. I think if BarnCat was going here, he's going to activate Groot and get a spender off on probably maybe Strange because he hasn't activated yet, and then hit the portal and just try to live. We'll see.
Yep. So it looks like we are spending 5 for a I am Groot going into Doctor Strange. So this will be an auto stagger and an auto medium throw onto Doctor Strange.
Oh, he buffed his dice up.
Yes, Hoggotsori Wisdom. He's going to be blocking 2, gets the crit. That's 6 coming through from Groot. Now, Doctor Strange does have the ability to reroll this. He would be taking 4.
2 out of, what is that? 2 out of 5 dice. Probably just takes it.
I think so.
Because if he doesn't have brace, so if he re-rolled that and blanked out, he would die from the throw.
That's true.
So,
I think he's choosing to re-roll it though.
Oh no!
All right, risky play. He does blank out. He takes 5.
He got 1. He got 1.
Yeah, but he takes 5, and now he's dead to the throw.
Oh, does he? Oh wow, yeah, you're right. He needed to block 2 there. Yeah, so it's that was I think that was an inexperience right there, showing that decision there. Yeah, because he would have lived there, and he maybe Groot attacks him again, but and he gets killed anyway. But now Groot has another whole activation that he can manage.
Yep, but he does have the power. He probably wants to We Are Groot, or he wants to use his own built-in healer as well. He probably doesn't want to spender again. There we go. That's him using his own spender. Living Plant, I believe it is. So, for a brief explanation for players who are watching, Doctor Strange has an ability where he can reroll all of his defense dice. With that attack, he had blocked enough so he would have survived with 2 health, which means that the subsequent throw wouldn't have killed him because he would only take the 1 damage. Because he rerolled, he only blocked 1, which means that he would have been alive with 1 health after the attack, which means that the throw KOs him. So Doctor Strange did not get to play this game.
He got to heal Logan for 3 and get.
There you go. Okay, you're right. You're right.
I mean, it did look at that. See the series of events where Logan doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he does get the beam off, but yeah, that's for having 5 threat on a 16 threat mission. Not do enough in the attrition to feel good about it. It's just like that. I mean, that just happens. But let's see here. Yeah, so Groot did the teleport on the portal to get to the opposite side of the board, and now he's looking at picking up the extract, which will damage him.
So he'll take,
and then he'll get damage from the bleed as well after.
Yeah, he'll take 2 damage from this. Now he seems to be wanting to place on the far side of the portal. I guess he might be afraid of Sabretooth or X-23 coming through the portal. But I think him getting out of dodge was a smart play. There was a very weird window there where Laura could get rid of Groot and then frenzy into Star-Lord. So now this makes the choice a little bit harder for Luke.
So there's something interesting just happened here that I think with experience on TTS, you you acknowledge or realize. And what BarnCat did, I think what he did was he placed maximum range with the tools from the lower portal with Groot, and then he moved pretty much the max distance with the short movement tool with Groot as well. Now he's doing that to avoid having to interact with other characters and just score VPs for probably the rest of the game. Um, but the problem that he might face here is that when he goes to move back to the portal, unless he does a perfectly straight line back to that portal, he might not be in range with a single move. Now that might not matter because he might just use two moves. But if you ever move perfectly away from something, and then you need to get back to that spot the next turn, you have to do the exactly perfect line back to it, or else you're going to be off by a pixel and you're not going to be contesting it, and that could lose you a VP and lose you the game. You got to be careful, like all these little details with the system. You have to just like be aware of.
That's a very good point. I was having a quick tutorial on TTS with one of my friends last night, and we were talking about the use of the movement tool. So when you're placing, you don't have to place in the little notch. As long as you're touching the edge of the tool, you can place wherever. So what Lucas is alluding to, kind of circulating around that, right? So if you use the very tip, you have to do the exact same very tip move back to get that perfect measurement.
Yeah, so it's always I never like to move the max distance on the tool unless I know that I do not need to go back to that spot um the next like in the future. Like so especially if I'm moving as far away as I can from a secure, you want to give yourself that extra couple of millimeters. You shorten that distance a little bit so that you can get back if you really needed to. So we'll see what are they doing now. They got the dossier. Looks like
Uh,
they're discussing the dossier card.
for some reason, the dossier has been flipped. I think Sabretooth has moved to the Dark Portal and is rolling to go through it. He rolled a
Oh,
blank.
that's right.
So now,
So BarnCat.
so BarnCat gets to place him.
Okay, so BarnCat's gonna avoid placing him near Groot, is what I think the thinking here is.
While also avoiding him being near the dossier.
Yes.
Okay, this raises a couple of interesting questions for Luke here with X-23. Is he just going to go running for the objective? Why did we move? What's going on here?
Oh, I think there's a little bit of rushing. And
Gotcha. So it looks like Sabretooth's second action is just to go on the backside of the portal there. Now, ironically, with Doctor Strange being completely blasted out of the way, Luke does still retain priority.
yeah, that might be really helpful for him next turn if he might get Agent Venom off the board. And with a 3 VP lead, it's he might be able to lean into a more attrition to kind of secure a win. And even if BarnCat does get more VPs this next round, like this round or next round, it might not be enough to win the game, and the attrition advantage will eventually overcome any points that Luke might give away.
So it looks like we've got a Star-Lord attack going into X-23 and X-20. Oh, I think they're doing a reroll out of activation here. The winging it token should happen first. So that is 4 successes to 3 blocks. So X-23 will take a damage. And this is kind of what we were alluding to earlier about the use of exceptional healing. If Star-Lord spikes here, there's nothing that X-23 can do about that. So having that card online for a key piece later on to kind of like stunt a potential comeback, I think is more important. Now Star-Lord is spending his 4 power. He is going to be doing a full auto into X-23, who is spending a memory token.
A big roll for Star Lord here,
Oh, that is 5
and
currently.
and another huge roll for
Oh
the
my
defense.
lord. So 5 going through, blocking 3. There is a reroll in there. Blocking 3, so taking 2. So oof.
That was
X23 can
BarnCat.
X23 can do no wrong, and she's like, and she can heal 2 of those back.
I know it's crazy, and she's gonna have the dossier too, which means a long move and 2 extra dice, right? She can get that benefit if she picks that up.
Now Star Lord was able to apply shock, so the dossier being picked up is going to counteract that. Um,
Yeah, that's I think that's why he must have left it there, right? Luke must have purposely saved it for X-23.
I think so. So
And
yeah,
he put Sabretooth beside Logan so that he gets his friendship bonus.
the
We'll see if Beta Ray Bill will what he's gonna do, because he does have a Beta Ray Bill has a token, a extract, so he can't hit the portal without losing that. It's interesting how this round is ending up here. But X-23 picked up the dossier, so she gets a long move and 2 extra dice on her attack rolls.
So then this is the question: Does she go? Does she go whole hog into Star Lord? Where's she gonna go here?
I think that she could just move up to within Star Lord, do a spender, and then get back on the point.
I think that's exactly what she's doing here. Still measuring the medium. She can move long with the dossier, but she range 3 off of the spender, which is what she's doing. So she's going to be rolling 6 up to 8, down to 7 because of the shock die physical into Star Lord.
7 dice with a reroll and a pierce. I think we've seen something like this before. I'm having deja vu a little bit.
Now, yeah,
I guess he didn't have the
surely,
reroll at the time, but
surely X23 can't do it again.
yeah.
Yep. Star Lord is blocking nothing.
Oh
That
man.
is 5 dice
Oh.
with a critical.
And a reroll
6
too. He
and
might
a
just
reroll.
block that in. He's already got him.
Well,
6 health on Star Lord.
Star Lord can technically reroll the blank with plucky
With the
attitude,
oh yeah, that's
but it
right. But
doesn't
it's
matter
not
because
enough
he
because
has
he's got the
Pierce. That is Jesus.
X-23 and Logan just straight up carrying.
Holy heck,
Oh,
X23 and Logan just that like I think you said earlier with the beam, that's game defining. Like
yeah.
that's huge because now she can't now Star Lord can't contest any of these objectives. The only healthy character on the board after this round is going to be Beta Ray Bill, and like you said earlier, he can't go through the portal without dropping his objective, and he doesn't have any movement shenanigans. That was brutal.
So I think Beta Ray Bill's really only out there. His only out here is to hit the portal and drop the piece and uh, go into the other side and try to get um, 2 days here, or like 1 or 2 days on this Weapon X team. Now that they don't have exceptional healing online. The problem that he might face though is that um, if he damages Logan or Apex, he now has Sacrifice online,
Mm-hmm.
so he might have to just go into X-23 to avoid um, sacrifice being Luke being able to split the attack. There is a throw though too. Both those Sabretooth, Logan, and X-23 all count as size 3 during throws, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's enough damage potential with 2 attacks and a size 4 throw that Beta Ray Bill has to get 2 dazes here. Um, so it could happen. I think that's what he's probably thinking about.
BarnCat very, very wisely taking his time to think about his options. Um, and you're absolutely right. Both Logan and X23 count as size 3 when they are being thrown. Sabretooth is size 3. So going in there, hopefully laying the hurt down onto X23, getting a throw off of there, doing as much damage as possible.
Oh, let's see this. All right, this matters here.
Yep, he is going through the portal.
Oh, did he hit it blank though? So that means Luke gets to place him.
And I know exactly where he's going.
So this is a big problem. If BarnCat will definitely interact again.
Oh, yep.
Um,
They just forgot about the objective being dropped first.
yes, looks like it.
There we go. And then I think you're right. I think so. Now the problem is Beta Ray Bill. If he rolls again and he fails again, he's only going to have the one power. I think he already spent. Yes, there we go. So
Oh,
he.
he did. He rolled again
Yep.
anyway. Okay, I see. Yep. So he interacted with the other portal, and now he's where he needs to be. And he just, I think, for this plan to work, he needs to get enough power to get a throw, a superpower online, which I believe is 3.
Yes,
Yes.
his throw is 3, so he needs to generate at least one power off of this. And who's going to be his target of choice?
I think. I think he would choose X-23 in this position, but we'll see. Sabretooth only has 2 power on him. Sorry, 2 health left.
Mm-hmm.
So
And 0
that's
power.
also an option.
And again,
Yeah,
I think that's exactly where you want to keep Sabretooth normally, but in this particular scenario with 3 healthy characters and versus your only healthy character, I feel like you kind of have to start getting the dazes.
X-23 has a disturbance and Sabretooth doesn't, though, so I can see why you'd kind of have to try to kind of Hail Mary this a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Again, BarnCat using all of the time that he is obviously entitled to. This is a very hard decision that he's just watched 2 of his characters get completely eviscerated in Rocket and Agent Venom, at Star-Lord, I guess, as well, and then Groot literally had to flee to safety. BarnCat playing with his back against the wall, I feel, a little bit here. And again, it sucks because Luke is going to have priority into the next round. So whatever Beta Ray Bill does here has to stick. Otherwise, Beta Ray Bill and Agent Venom are in the immediate firing line.
Yeah, that's
And
the
he
fact
is.
that Luke took out 3 characters in the first turn and gets priority.
Oh, that's
Uh,
not what you want to see,
that's
Bill. Oh, never mind.
got a assassin training reroll.
Mm-hmm. Does not get the
Doesn't
block,
convert
so
it.
that puts the throw online. That puts X-23 down to 1 health.
Ooh. X20. That means X-23 can be thrown, and that will injure her, or
Mm-hmm.
daze her. And if she's throwing size 3 into Sabretooth, it's a lot of damage that Sabretooth has to block, setting up an attack, maybe dazing both of them, and then setting up an attack into Logan.
I think that's the thought that's happening right here. I don't think you want to attack Logan here. I know that he needs to be dealt with, but you don't want to give him that power for the clap pack.
It's tricky. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna. Yeah, maybe you just leave him, but I don't know.
We're spending the 3 power. We are doing the throw. It is going to be X-23 being thrown into Apex.
Yeah.
So she goes down, drops the dossier, drops the disturbance, and then Apex Predator will be rolling a dodge roll with 4 incoming damage. Sorry. So in a very similar vein that X-23 took to going through the portal and getting it back. Oh, that's a dazed Sabretooth there. In the same vein of X-23 going through the portal and getting the disturbance back, Beta Ray Bill has done the exact same thing.
And Sabretooth dazing and coming back online with only 1 power, it just like shows you like that's why stun is so good here, because he doesn't get that big clapback turn that you would expect a character who gets dazed to have.
Mm-hmm. So now just rounding out the turn with a 5-die attack into Logan, seeing if we can get lucky. 2 dice says probably not. It's 2 damage going through.
The wild stun on that attack.
Mm-hmm.
He's immune to stun though, so.
Yeah. And they're very quickly going to find out as the token bounces off of him.
Like literally immune.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? He played to his outs. And he got it because now Luke is only going to be getting the one victory point for holding the disturbance, no friendship bonus or anything like that. And BarnCat will be holding 2 victory points. So, not necessarily pulling himself back into the game, but he's stemming the flow after that amazing turn that Luke just had.
Yeah, he's gonna need Beta Ray Bill to get an activation in the next round uh, if he wants to win this game. If BarnCat wants to win.
Now, they haven't remembered to drop the dossier from X23.
Oh, when does she drop it?
She dropped.
Oh yeah, when she dazes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I'll ask about that.
Yes, because that is going to be that could be turn changing. What a incredible round we just saw. We saw so many deaths, so much carnage and chaos, but such a low scoring round. You kind of expect multiple characters dying for it to be a huge swing. Ah, there we go. The dossier is being placed.
All right.
And as BarnCat should be, placing it far off into the distance. Lucas, would you mind riffing for a couple of moments? I have to quickly go and take some Advil.
All right.
I will be right back.
All right, there. Just deciding on where to put the dossier. Nothing crazy happening here. I think that X23 might be a viable target to activate first. But Logan does have a beam. He doesn't have enough power for a beam, so I don't see, maybe. I think with the health healing factor, I would activate Logan first. You get 2 free health back if you get enough power to if you get 1 more power here, you get to do that beam attack. And then maybe with the placements, you can just, at the end of the activation, I guess you're stuck there because you have an extract. But let's see, are you trying to kill? You're trying to take out an activation. With whatever Luke does, he's trying to take out at least one of these activations, and both would kind of seal the game. So he's just trying to figure out probably which one is gonna be able to handle the business here. He's considering. Looks like he's considering the throw. BarnCat does have brace online, so in this case, I would opt to not worry about the throw and try to get that 1 extra power. 5 dice with a pierce. It's probably into Venom because Beta Ray Bill has the damage reduction that goes all the way to 0. So the chances of getting no damage are a little higher there. And they both have wing inits though, so I think BarnCat would probably spend the wing init to avoid the beam. He's obviously BarnCat's seen what the beam can do, so I'm sure he doesn't want to eat another one.
Okay. So, nice close round. Thank you for covering for me, Lucas.
Yeah, no worries. Looks like Logan. Looks like judging by where Lou is, what card Luke is reading, he is about to activate Logan. I think he's considering the throw, but I think I would opt for the hoping for 1 extra damage and triggering a beam.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with what works.
Exactly. Tried and true, right?
It's interesting that Logan has only had like 1 attack this whole game with the extra rerolls, and he's still you can see how powerful of a piece he can be even without that.
Oh, he can be an absolute monster. So I think what you were saying is correct. He's going to be doing the 5 dice strike going into Beta Ray Bill, looking for the 1 damage.
Is it Beta Ray Bill? It wouldn't have been Venom?
It looked like he was going into Beta Ray Bill.
Okay.
Looks like the winging it token is being used, blocking
no extra damage. He
might be spending 1 power from Corbinite. He is. He'll be taking 2 damage, which means the 2 power gets passed on to Logan. Which, as we all know, it's beam time.
Yeah, that's it's gonna be a lot of damage probably. I mean, like, well, if it's anything like we've seen already. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can whiff, but
You can. Oh, and that's the
ooh,
first.
only
There you
only
go.
two. Ah,
But
but no blocks.
2-0.
Ouch.
So who was that into
It
first? I was into
was
Venom
Venom.
first. Okay. So we still have a potential for Beta Ray Bill to go down here.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is 4 with a
Decent.
Pierce.
That's looks like it's enough. Maybe.
Even with the actually, yeah, he needed that to convert so he could then spend 1 and put it down to 1. Actually, it doesn't matter because of the Pierce. I swear I've played Weapon X before. So that is
Uh,
him going down. Now, Logan cannot pick that up because he's already holding a disturbance, but he can place it just behind him to make it a little bit harder for Agent Venom or Star-Lord to go and deal with that.
it's interesting that um the being like man now that I'm seeing like how this game played out where they're like just like a tight groups of character groups having that beam attack really does like they both had their extra ways to get more attacks off
Mm-hmm.
but the beam like the I don't know they both had I guess Luke's dice were a little better or he got the extra dice attacks um at a more important time in the game
Now we
um,
we are about to see Agent Venom pull off a triple beam, and he has the power to do it
Okay. Oh,
twice.
I see that. I didn't know he had a beam, so there we go. Yeah,
Yeah, this
this
could
could put it the
this
other way
this
here.
could be absolutely backbreaking. Now, Symbiote Special Fortress is Beam 3, 7 dice physical, 4 power, and if he gets a wild hit after each attack is resolved, deal 1 damage to each
Ooh,
other enemy character within range 2 of this character.
wow.
So he has the potential of splashing over. So the first attack gets the trigger.
Wow, that's really cool. Hit wild too. 7 dice. That's about a 60% chance, maybe high 50% chance of hitting the trigger. So, um, you when you roll those, you're really hoping to see it, and there we go.
So 5 successes onto 2. So whomever he was targeting first takes 3. Looks like it was Logan. Logan is dazed, and because he got the trigger, X-23 and Sabretooth will also be taking a damage.
Crazy, and they still have to be attacked too. This is what
This
a
could
phenomenal beam. What a phenomenal attack. I didn't know he had a beam. That's like this is what a great kit that Venom has.
Agent Venom does almost everything you could possibly want him to do. Placing so he can then pick up the disturbance after, or probably thinking about the Star Lord activation afterwards.
So the advice I got on exceptional healing, and it's I guess similar logic to playing brace for impact as well, and maybe even sacrifice here. Maybe that might be something that gets played in this attack sequence. Is that you basically want to spend those cards when it's guaranteeing it saves your character, whereas when he played exceptional earlier, it didn't do that for Sabretooth.
So now the attack going into X-23 has 4 successes, but more importantly, it's got the trigger. So Sabretooth has yet to be attacked and has already taken 2 damage.
Oh my gosh.
So X-23 is blocking 2 damage so far, gets the reroll. She cannot reroll because of Agent Venom, so that couldn't have happened. So that is going to
Oh,
be.
did it convert into a hit though? So it ultimately didn't matter in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I don't know. I didn't see the.
Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah,
It
so
didn't
it
convert.
did. Right.
So 2 damage onto X-23. For some reason, wasn't put on. I think
Oh,
it's.
I think they're catching it now.
Yep. There we go.
I'm sure. BarnCat is acutely aware of the health positions of the enemy characters at this point in time. Let's see here.
So yeah, and then Sabretooth is about to get attacked, and he's taken 2 damage from this attack without even being the target yet. David says, "What a
Yeah.
bloodbath!" Yeah, absolutely. This is the battle of the beams,
Yeah. My
and
gosh. There it is. That's what a this is turning into a massive round for BarnCat if he can seal the deal on this.
Now here, if he gets the trigger here, which he does, X23
Oh
takes
my god!
X23 takes 1 damage. Agent Venom can now throw her into Sabretooth to KO her.
Oh my gosh, dude! What a crazy character! Like the both of these beam attacks,
He just
back and forth,
he
are
just
just
KO'd them
incredible.
both.
He just killed them both. Did he? Hold on, let's see here. Yeah, because you
That's
just got Sabretooth. Oh, because now you're saying he can now spend the power to. Wow, what
he
a
he
crazy turn that
he
was.
can now throw X23 into the tree and KOs X. Oh my god!
This is insane.
How did this
What a
game?
freaking game. Oh
This
my
game.
gosh, this is crazy.
This game flip flopped so fast.
I know. I thought BarnCat was in a great position after his first two activations, round two, and then it kind of like flipped back, and I was favoring Luke, and then obviously, um, at the beginning of this round, I mean, like it seemed like he was in good spot. He, I guess the lesson here is that he dazed maybe the wrong character, um, because that beam is just ridiculous.
Now, Barncat only needs 7 points to win. There are seven, technically 8 points on the table. This one activation of Agent Venom may have just won him the game.
Yes, the fact that he has no more characters left to activate, and BarnCat now has two full activations
Is he
to
attacking?
scoop up as many points as possible. He's using a memory token here. It looks like he is.
Why is he doing the throw?
Maybe he's. I don't know. That's a
It's blocked.
good
Oh, the
question.
critical goes through. She doesn't get to do a reroll. He's going to spend his winging it token. Maybe he values the power here. He doesn't convert.
I think he maybe forgot about it, and now that he's like looking for an out, he might see it. Oh, there,
Yeah,
he just
there it
spent
is.
for it.
Yep, there you go. Throws her into the
Yeah,
tree. That's it.
if he.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, he already had an extract here anyway. Saving the power is probably he had probably nowhere else to go, and he was just saving the power. I would imagine he was trying to save the power.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he takes a damage from that, or no, he doesn't, because the damage only triggers will not take effect if you've got a dazed character beside you.
So you get the
take damage.
so you get the friendship bonus for not taking the damage, but you don't get the friendship bonus for the extra victory point.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to understand what you're saying, but like he doesn't take the damage because he has a character within two of him that's friendly, and it doesn't matter if they're dazed or not. The dazed part only matters for scoring purposes.
Gotcha. So that means that so Venom should still have a turn. Star Lord can double move to get onto that point and probably hold that the secure. I think he probably has the range for it.
I think Star Lord should grab the middle here, right? Probably Star Lord grabs the middle. I don't know. I haven't run the numbers in my head here, but Star Lord could get two. Groot could get two.
Say
I
Groot
don't
just
think there's a way for him to win.
no, he can't. He doesn't. He can't get the proximity trigger from Paranoia, but he can take a commanding lead here.
Yeah, so he wouldn't be able to get all the points because only one per character, right? And he has only three characters, so he couldn't pick all of them up. So I don't think there was a way for him to mathematically win out here because you would have had to have all three characters on all three separate points holding paranoia, which means no friendship bonus. And so that would be 6 maximum.
So he's placing there. I think the intent is so he can stay within range 4. Yeah, BarnCat's probably identified that he can't win this turn,
yes.
so he's just going to be moving so that he is within range 4 for an attack next turn.
Yeah, it looks like I think that I mean with one character versus you've got 4, you're looking at two actions versus 8 actions. I think that beam um was just like the killing blow basically.
That was the most perfect setup for a beam that could have been. He got the trigger every single time. He left X-23 on 1 damage, so he just threw her. Like that was fantastic, and he does land
Yeah,
within range 1.
yeah, that was they both. I mean, either side can't really complain, right? Both had like like basically perfect beams
Mm-hmm.
or perfect like character activations where they did literally everything that they could have hoped to have done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's yeah, I guess it was just that was crazy. I what a crazy back and forth that
Yeah,
was.
I'm very happy that I got to spectate this. This is incredible. I've seen I've seen Logan have his crazy beam turns, but I know what peak Agent Venom looks like.
Yeah, like the fact that you had like I don't know, you had a character that rolled for what for 21 plus another 14, so like 35 dice, and you had Rocket roll 25, Venom roll like 7, whatever it was, 22 or something, and then you have Venom roll again another 21, like in a single activation. Actually, more than that, right? He had an extra 5 dice attack, so that's
Yeah.
26. Like you just had many. You had multiple activations where characters were throwing 20 plus dice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was he had a ideal round 2, and then everything looked really, really grim for him at the end of the last round. Beta Ray Bill actually coming over and being the MVP. He stopped the game from really getting out of hand.
Yeah, with the what did he got the days right with throwing X-23 into
Yep.
Sabretooth. Yeah, he really that was an amazing 1-2 punch with Beta Ray Bill and X-23.
So
Or
that
sorry, and Agent Venom.
so that puts the game into 15-11, and I don't think anyone is going to begrudge me saying this. This is very firmly in BarnCat's in BarnCat's favor here. Logan is a great character, but he cannot hit the most that he can do this turn is score 2 points, and BarnCat could literally just run away with any of his characters holding an extract, and he wins the game.
Yes, that's right. There, it's like it's pretty much mathematically impossible at this point to make a comeback here. So he's probably just gonna roll dice to get the a moral victory, and it looks like he's going after the
Oh
Guardians
yeah,
leader.
yeah, he's gonna kill Star Lord, feel better about himself a little bit. Even the rude placement of the dossier, he can't even place off of Star Lord. He'd just be out of range. It looks like to pick up the dossier to make
Yeah, the
himself feel
trees.
better.
No way. Yeah.
He does still get 2 rerolls, which is nice.
Yeah, now that his team is all gone, no matter where he's on the board, he'll get the 2 rerolls. So that's good.
Hey, you gotta look at things with a positive lens sometimes.
No, that's right. That's right. Oh, look at that. Yeah, not enough.
There's 2 damage. He gets his second action.
He's looking. Looks like he's lining up the beam.
I think he's looking to see if he can get the place as well for maybe for the dossier.
Oh yeah, no, it looks like he's.
Oh no, he is within range. Never mind.
Oh yeah, look at that. There is a terrain piece in the way. Beta Ray Bill is size 2. Oh, but there is. I think there's line of sight on them. I think.
Yeah, I believe there is line of sight.
All right, so 9 dice. Beam re-rolling 2. It's fine. That's Agent Venom's out of the way though, so BarnCat kind of predicted what Logan could do here and just positioned his character accordingly.
Yep. So killing Star Lord is the easier part here. Getting rid of Beta Ray Bill is going to be the hard one. I know this is just for a moral victory, but
only 1 block, so he could
technically
do this with a dice spike.
Technically blocking 2 because of Corbinite, and okay, so he's only okay, Logan. All right, Logan, explode your crits. Explode your crits first.
5 into 1, effectively 2 is 3 damage.
But
he could get it. Yeah, if he explodes the crit and rerolls 2 dice, he could get him.
He has the pierce though, so
Yes.
most Beta Ray Bill. The Beta Ray Bill does still have the winging it token, so he can reroll 2 of those hits. which he is most likely to do. However, he
He
hasn't
doesn't.
remembered to explode his crit, interestingly.
Oh, there it is. Oh, he just.
He's
That's another little fact with the dice tray is that like if
yeah.
you add dice in while your dice are like in the middle of re-rolling.
I
All
think
right.
BarnCat just allowed it to happen because he knows the game is over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
I mean, they both probably just are cutting corners or whatever. Because yeah, like you said.
yeah. So not quite enough to get rid of Beta Ray Bill. He doesn't need to use the winging yet. He's going to anyway. He doesn't need to. He just needs to spend 1 power and block 1. Yeah, there it is. Blocks 1, goes to 4. Perfect. And then let's roll 9 dice against Star-Lord, because why not? Screw your plucky attitude. What a bloodbath. Holy.
BarnCat made a great decision. When you've got an injured character, there's really the best thing you can do with them is almost always get them an extract and get them the hell out of there if you can, or even if you just move them out of range of anything else, because they can come back in a later round and score you that 1 or 2 extra VPs you might need to close out the game,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just letting them die and not getting to activate them for the last half of the game. So I think that was just like a great move, and it turns out um, it's probably gonna be one of the reasons why he was able to close out the game.
I think so. We're just positioning at this point. Star Lord used plucky attitude to reroll everything, and now doesn't have the dice to reroll with his winging it. So that is Star Lord out of there. That is Logan done, and that is the game. Venom, Groot, and Bill can just go and do whatever they please. Now, here's the interesting part. Because of the order of operations, Logan doesn't actually get to place.
Oh, that's right, because there's no one to place off of.
Correct. Star-Lord is dead. There is nowhere for him to go. He is just stuck in the middle of no man's land.
He would take a damage.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, he'd heal it.
Oh yes, yes, yes. You're right.
There we go.
Okay, looks like they're just maximizing their
Yeah.
scores here.
Just going through the motions. You know what? I think turn one. I think both players played pretty much the way that they were supposed to. I was a little bit intrigued by Doctor Strange moving up to the top point to keep Logan alive. That felt a little unnecessary. I felt like because I think the only reason they did that was because he missed his not exceptional healing, his healing factor trigger. But Doctor Strange really didn't do a whole lot, and having a 5 threat be a complete non-factor in a game never feels good.
Yeah, I think that the opening activations with Logan going towards the group, like, is something that I would have tried to avoid doing. I would have maybe just started attacking, moved and attacked into Groot, and just try to get the attrition going out around earlier. Um, because he has that range 3, right? And Groot had to, so Groot was definitely in range, and um, maybe picked up the paranoia with someone else, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I mean, you don't. It's hard to know. It's hard to know what to do. The healing factor. It's very tempting to grab a paranoia with a character with healing factor, because it is one less damage that you take. I mean, you don't take the damage,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
But having the power, I don't know. It's kind of a fine line. With this mission is great because you're like, yeah, I've got the healing factor. I don't take the damage, but then you are losing that power. You're not getting your attrition game plan online any sooner. And yeah, players are just going through the motions right now. BarnCat has a well earned victory. I definitely thought at least a round and a half ago that it was not going to end this way. Logan's beam and X-23 popping off really felt like the game was a closed case. But BarnCat showed us the power of Agent Venom.
Yeah, that was really cool. He used his characters really effectively, um, to whoa.
Agent Venom. What I feel like this is. I feel like this is the MVP status. I don't. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that was
I
game
didn't know you
changing.
could even do that.
Game changing. Okay, well, I'm sure the players are going through their post game discussions. Anything that you wanted to touch on, Lucas?
Well, I mean, other than just to say congratulations to BarnCat, he's now so that means he'd now be 4-1 in the league, and so if he wins next week, he will make top cut, and he'll be in the playoff bracket, which is always it's always a cool achievement to make it into top cut.
Absolutely, and commiserations to Luke. His dream of making top cut ends here. We will still follow him for his game if we can find the schedule for him. And Lucas, as you go into your the knockout round in the top cut, we would be more than interested to spectate some of your games if you'll have us.
Yeah, of course, and I think this is Luke's first season too, so um, to have a I mean, I think this is a great first season. So I think that I mean I'm sure he'll hopefully he'll be in the next season, and I'm sure we'll see even stronger play. He's yeah, so it's yeah, it was this was an awesome game to watch, and I'm glad you had me on. So thank you.
I had a lot of fun. I would happily have you back if you would like to come back. The stream I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I'm glad that you were able to join. Um, as for us, that's thank you very much for watching the game. We would normally go in and do a quick interview with the players afterwards, but I'm still yet to find a formula that works for that. I'm sure I'll work on that for next season. But thank you so much for joining us this week. I hope you guys have a great night, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscription. We will answer all the questions in the comments, and we will answer all the questions that you post on stream. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night, guys.